suffer from back pain, neck pain, sometimes in between like your shoulder blades, or sometimes you have a pain, you feel it from the back and it's coming towards your chest? Or do you have pain that is coming towards your groin, sometimes on your butt and running down the leg, like sciatic kind of pain, which mostly people term it? Or sometimes do you have a pain coming from the groin in front affecting your knee? You feel like the pain is your knees. There is a lot that goes on with the back. Every day we go to our hustle and bustle, and that we cannot avoid because it's part of our daily chores that bring food to our table. And stop doing that because it's giving you back pain. No, you have to go to work. You have to go to you have to go to those meetings. You have to take those long drives. And these are the things that we do on our morning bed. And they are necessary because they feed our children, they put food on our table, they enable us to maintain the lifestyle that we have. But this body is the only thing that you have that enables you to be able to do that kind of work on your daily basis. What do you do to give it your body? What are you giving back to your body? Today, I will not focus more on your mental health. I will not focus more on your dietary. I will not focus more on other health. I'll mainly focus on the physical health. Physiotherapy, as we discussed earlier, is what you do to your body, is what you feed your body. It's the therapy that you give to your physical. That's why it's called physical therapy. So going through your work, going through all those socials and all that, it is therapy. But it has a negative impact. At the same time, it has a positive impact. Positive impact is what you bring to your table. But a negative impact is the aches and the pains and the strains that you get while at it. And that's where I come in. I'm here to guide you through a few stretch exercises that you can do on a daily basis. For somebody who's not in pain, you can be able to do this to may also improve your flexibility. For somebody who's in pain or who is struggling in pain, there are different ways of tackling it. So I'll be giving a little bit of a set of exercises for you to test. If I do this, does it increase the pain or does it reduce the pain? So these are the elements that you'll be monitoring whenever you're doing these exercises. That is if you're in pain. But if you're not in pain, well and good. It's good to maintain your body. It's good to maintain your flexibility. It's good to maintain the functionality of your body. There are certain limits of, let's say, if you're doing a certain kind of stretch, if you're normal in terms of you don't have any pain and you're flexible is standard and it's okay in terms like the way you would say your structure, your body structure is okay, your muscle length is fine. There are certain limits that you're able to hit without a struggle. But if you have limitation, then it means there's something that is cooking within your spine, within your body, and you need to take care of it. You need to work on it before it starts working on you or eating up into your time for you to be able to create more time for physiotherapy. So I'm giving you tips to maintain a flexible body, to maintain your flexibility, that is, and also to improve your efficiency, to improve your productivity, doesn't weigh you down later in the week or later in the day. So as we go back to our previous discussion, how do you till the land? This is now what I always advise my clients. There are things that you do when you wake up in the morning, and there are things that you do in between the day. As I said, you cannot say, I only have exercise time in the morning, 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or the gym time, 2 a.m. All those times are good. Don't stop. I'm not advocating you stop your gym exercise. I'm not advocating you stop anything else. I'm just trying to give you tips on how to maintain or improve your back whenever you have a strain, or as well, at the end of the day, you've strained your body. Drinking water is a very good thing that hydrates the joint, but as well as stretching. Few stretches that to avoid, like let's say if you're sitting long hours, you're conditioning your hip flexors to be short. If you stand long hours, you're putting a lot of strain on your heel. At the same time, you put a lot of strain on your back because you'll tend to bend forward. You'll tend to adjust yourself to try and maintain that longevity in the same. Always a lot of strain. When you do something for a long time, it always has an impact towards your body. So toning it down later in the day, stretching it, and trying to maintain that flexibility of that muscle that you've strained during the day is very important. And this is what we call tilling the land, giving back to the body what it's necessary. So I'll take you a few steps on how to go about working on your stretches. And most of this time, you don't have to go to the floor. Mostly, I prefer as advising, do it on your bed if you have a firm bed. This also tells you, is your mattress good? Yeah, it's a high time that when you're able to do your stretches on your bed, that means you have a firm bed which is well supporting your structure. But don't forget, we are all built differently. There are those people who are comfortable sleeping in a softer bed. There are those who are comfortable sleeping in a hard bed. So if you're able to go to the floor and do the exercises, well and good. If you have a very firm bed and you're able to do your exercises in bed, that's another good thing. But the key thing for me is we all go to bed and we all wake up from the same bed. And this is the place where sometimes when you're feeling like you're tired and all, I'd want to lie down and unwind and feel a bit of relaxation. You feel that comfort when you're lying down. That's your body telling you that you've been overworking it or you've been putting it under pressure. And that's the best time. Like before you get to sleep or before the sleep takes over you. I know there are people who fall down and 2 minutes they're out. But before sleep takes over, try and do these few stretches. Yeah, try and do this simple workout, but they help to maintain the flexibility of the lower back, the flexibility of the back as well. Today we'll focus more on the lower back, and later in other videos we'll work on the neck, we'll work on the upper back. So welcome to my treatment table. You can do it with me. At the same time, you can even practice it on your own free time. There are two ways to doing these exercises. One, I'll do it while lying facing up, and the other one, I'll do it while lying facing down. Now, if you have a back problem, if you are in pain, either of the two will give you relief. So if you're having like a sciatic pain, you can try both of them. I'll go to the first one. All right. The first thing you'd want to do, first of all, is to try and loosen up the tension that is building up at the back. Concentrate on the effects that you feel while doing the exercise. Secondly, focus more on your breathing in and breathing out. Like when I'm pulling the knee to my chest, you breathe in, and then when you're releasing, you breathe out. Yeah, you do it alternately on both sides, and pain is the one thing that you focus on. If you're not in pain, you can do that as you can do 10 on each side, but try and do it alternately. That will help you at least increase your flexibility at the back. But if you're in pain, more on the pain. If you do, by the time you're doing 5 times, you'll do one on each, alternately on the left and on the right. Try and alternate at least 5 times and observe, does the pain reduce with it or does the pain increase? Yeah, we'll discuss about the structure of the spine, but at the moment we'll focus more on the exercises one, and then I'll explain to you how the structure of the spine is and what you're supposed to maintain on a daily basis. So back to the stretches. If you're in pain, this should help you relieve the pain. But if you notice that it is not relieving the pain, then you'll do in the opposite direction. Lie on your stomach and then rest on your elbows. The first few minutes of this position will give you pain, or you'll feel a bit of a discomfort. But the longer you hold on it, you'll find the pain slowly subsiding. So what next you want to do, once the pain subsides, then you can push your palm down and lift your chest out. Yeah, what you're targeting to do is straighten your elbows, look up, and then in that position you breathe in and out. You don't have to hold for long and go back to the same position. So you go up, breathe in and out, and come back to the same position of resting on your elbows. If you find that very painful, you can hold this position of resting on your elbows for a longer time, and you can try at least stretch it out for a longer time. So this one helps maintain what we call the lumbar curve, the lumbar lordosis. What happens is, as the day goes by, there are two things that happen within the spine. One, the spaces in between the discs tend to reduce, Yeah. Two, you tend to put a lot of pressure on the small muscles that support the structure of the spine. So the tighter the muscle holds, the more compression happens to your lumbar. So the other thing that factors in is your posture. Do you sit the way I'm sitting right now, or do you tend to sit upright? If you tend to sit upright like this, you'll notice even by practice, you're not able to maintain this position for a long time. With time, you feel like you're getting tired, and slowly you end up going into that kind of a slouch. But the most correct position is sitting upright with a back support, but leaning on the chair. So most of the office people have gone to different offices, and you find that people have proper ergonomic chairs, but they sit on it and lean forward. So what you're doing is the chair is properly supportive, but you're not using the support of the chair. Mostly you're supposed to sit upright, you sit completely behind to the chair. It's an ergonomic chair. Yeah, it has proper lumbar support. So what you do is you sit completely back and rest on the chair. So what you do is try and lock it so that it doesn't have the swinging, and then you sit in completely on the desk. Make sure that you lock so that it doesn't swing back, and then you sit completely inside. Yeah, if you have your laptop raiser, then you have the armrest and you have your posture, and you're able to work on your laptop properly without having to lean forward. Most people tend to lean in this position, and that's why it affects the back. But as I talked in my video earlier, we are not perfect. Yeah, sometimes you get absorbed in the work, and you're not able to maintain that kind of a proper posture. So that's why I advocate for these kind of stretches every time you reach home, and even in the morning before you get out of bed. When you maintain these simple stretches, what it helps is it tends to increase the spacings within the lumbar or the structures around the back. So it stretches the muscle, improves the spaces in between the discs, and two, it helps reduce the pressure that is built on the spine. The other thing that is very important is hydration. When you drink a lot of water, all the discs, they use a lot of water. They rely on your water so that they are more flamboyant, more hydrated. And the more hydrated they are, then the healthier they maintain, and you're able to have longevity later in life. So these simple stretches are what I want you to try and do. One, to check if it reduces the pain. If you find that you sit more like this, then do the exercise when you're lying on the prone. If you're up and about and back and doing all that, then it means you should be able to do either of the two, but both of them will give you good relief. Let's get back to the stretches. I told you I'll give you 5 exercises today. So the first one is alternately pull the knee to your chest. Yeah, you do 5 times on each. Okay. The second exercise is both of them. You pull to your chest and let loose. You relax it. Yeah. So you pull to your chest. The second exercise, 5 times on each. Okay. The third exercise, yeah, you can keep one leg straight down, cross the other foot over the other leg, the leg that is down, and then what you do is, so if you're pulling the knee towards your left, you face the right. So if you're in pain, holding in that position and breathing in helps a lot to relieve the tension that has built up on the back. So you can hold in like you take in a deep breath and breathe out, you release. Don't hold it for long, change the other direction. Same thing, pull it to the right and face your left. This gives a very nice stretch at the back, and it relieves the tension that builds around the back. Yeah? And then the other exercise, if you're in pain or not in pain. If you're in pain, it helps a lot to reducing the tension at the back. So if you're in a lot of pain, you'd want to use a stool. So the point is, you keep your hips straight, keep your knees straight. It's more of the same as the one that we've done before previously, but now this one helps
I prefer the previous exercise to this one. And you're working on strengthening your core, you do this exercise. So what you do is maintain your arm down, drop the leg towards one side, don't pull the knee. When you're doing that, don't change the angle of the ankle. Maintain the same position. 90 degrees hip, 90 degrees at the knee. So you drop to one side. This is a very good trunk builder. It strengthens your core. At the same time, it opens up the nerves on the opposite side. And you do to the other side the same thing. So when you're doing that, maintain your shoulders on the ground or on bed so that you have that the structure. You keep your structure in one so that you're focusing your exercises or your stretch at the lower part of the back. So you do on one side, you breathe in and out, and you change to the other side. In the same position, hold it, breathe in and out, and pull yourself back. So as you do that exercise, you'll notice you're feeling the tension around the sides of your trunk. This helps a lot in building up your core and strengthening your core muscles. The other exercise that I normally also give my client is bridge exercise. Yeah, when you're doing bridge exercise, don't do so fast. Yeah, what you want to do is control the movement. And then the key towards this exercise is maintaining a straight line between your shoulder, your hip, and your knee. So you have like a straight line in that position, and then slowly bring it down. Again, you hold it in the same position. Maintain a straight line between your knee, your hip, and your shoulder, and then you bring it down. To advance it a little bit better, you can keep one leg straight. Yeah? Maintain the straight line between your hip, your shoulder, your knee, and your ankle. Don't do straight like this. No. Keep the leg straight. And you maintain. You bring it to the level of that knee. You do that. Now that will be working more to strengthen your glute on the opposite side. At the same time, it's working on your core. And if you normally have a pelvic tilt, it also helps to stabilize the tilt, your pelvis, to align it in the same level. So you'll notice if your pelvis is tilted more towards one side, then you'll struggle lifting on one side. But the more you do this, you tend to realign it and keep it in the same tone. And this helps build the muscle, because we are all one-sided dominant. If you're right-sided, then you'll find your right side is more dominant than your left. So most of the time you'll notice that when you're doing your exercises, one side gets tired faster. That should not be the case. That's where rehabilitation comes in, and that's why you do exercise, to maintain the same tonicity between your left and your right. So you do again to the opposite side, keep the shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle in a straight line, and bring it to the same level with the other knee. So you do 5 times on each side. So if you're doing on the left, alternate it again with the right. When you go up, you breathe in and out, then you come down. You go up, you breathe in and out, and then you come down. You go up again, breathe in, breathe out, and come down. So these are some of the exercises you can incorporate in your day-to-day activity, in the morning and in the evening once you get back. It helps improve and maintain the flexibility of the lower back. I'll add one more exercise, which is very probably 2 other exercises which are important also to incorporate on a daily basis to make sure that your lower back is more flexible and better aligned, and the stress that you do on a daily is reduced. So the next exercise, we'll do it while facing down. This will involve also the knee. Remember, for people who are sitting long hours on the chair, the muscle that you affect more is the hip flexor. And the hip flexor comes from the spine towards the groin. And that's the muscle that does this kind of a movement. Whenever you're walking, whenever you're doing any other exercises. Anything that flexes the hip is the hip flexor. Alright? So how do you stretch it? Now we go back to the prone position. Now remember, if you are in pain When you do the exercises in when you're facing up, pulling the knee to your chest, it's supposed to help reduce the pain. But if it doesn't reduce the pain, then this position should help a lot with reducing the pain of your back. Most of the people know it as the cobra stretch, and it helps to improve the lordosis, what we call the curve at the lower back. At the same time, it helps reduce the compression of the nerve, because in this position you tend to open the neural pathways that are created within the facet joint. That is the spaces which are built in between the bones or the structures of the bone structure of the lumbar region. So in this position, it helps open up the neuroforaminers where the nerve passes, and it will help reduce or relieve the pain at the lobe. So the first step is resting on your elbow. You can breathe in and out several times until you feel that discomfort is reduced at the lower back. And then what you do is push your palms down and lift your elbows up, and try and straighten your elbow on both sides. In this position, you can breathe in and out and then go back. Always incorporating breathing in and out helps relax the muscle. So you can do that 5 times, and then it should help you. Always monitor your pain when you're doing this exercise. And now to stretch your hip flexor, you can hold the ankle. You can hold your ankle on one leg in that position, and then what you do is you try and lift the knee from the bed. Yeah, you can do alternately on one side, and you do it again on the opposite side, trying to lift the knee off the bed. In that position, and lift the knee. Okay? In the same position, opposite side, you can keep your head down and lift the knee. Okay? You can do 5 times on either side. Same position and lift the knee off the bed. So with that, you've done a complete recovery of your lower back. By the time you finish that, the discomfort that you're feeling at the back, the pain that was shooting down on the leg should subside with a certain percentage or completely. And if it does that, and you're able to do that as regular as possible, now that is tilling the land. You're giving what is good to the land. You're giving what is good to the body to try and reduce the tension. And with that, you'll avoid a lot of travels to the physio and back. But it doesn't mean you avoid the physio completely. I'm rooting for my business, sorry. But keeping in touch with the physio when we are doing a thorough assessment. Whenever you come, we normally do a thorough assessment to check which are the muscles that you're not able to stretch by yourself. The IT band, mostly we find it difficult. We try to encourage people to use the foam roller, but everybody loves themselves and you don't want to be in that pain, so most people will avoid it. But now, this is when we do our thorough assessment, we are able to tell you which are the muscles that you're not able to work on, which are the muscles that you're able that are okay, that you've worked on and they are okay, and we are able to guide you on how to stretch the other exercises. More and more of this video will be coming on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to help somebody who's in pain, somebody who's struggling, somebody who's not able to even access the physiotherapy services. So thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me, and I hope that I was beneficial to you. And if you would want to see more of this, or different stretches on different muscle group, or how we go about our ways as a physiotherapist, just comment on the link below or call the number below if you need you would want to consult, you would want to understand more on physiotherapy, because there's a notion that is very wrong about physiotherapy and massage. People just say I'm going for physio and they're going for a massage. Physio entails assessment of the body, understanding which muscles are limited, which muscles are not working properly, which nerve is compromised, what is affected where, and we're able to help you get out of that pain, or able to guide you through in ways that you can help yourself get out of this situation. Welcome once again to Mostfit Physiotherapy Center, where you'll receive your touch of care.